Hi, Dad. Welcome
Hi
back.
there, buddy.
Welcome back to another episode of Dave and Andy's Honest About Life. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So we talked last episode about what we would talk about now, which is, do we remember the good times better than the bad times? Which one comes to our memory more easily, and why that is? So if I could ask you, Dad, when you think back to your younger days, which do you remember easier, the good times or the bad times?
That is such a deep, good question, I think, because I think it says a lot about how we grew up and also, what our minds are made out of. What our minds made out of bad memories or good memories? Do they have more bad memories or good memories? And I do believe that I remember, and this sounds negative on my part, but I do remember the bad things that happen more readily than the good things, and that's kind of sad. I wish it was different. I wish I remembered the good times better, but I think I remember the bad times better because of the impact it had on me in my life.
This is like you said, Dad, this is a really deep question. Are some minds set up differently so that they more easily think about the good times? Does that naturally make them then more happy on a regular basis? So, I always thought, and I think I've had conversations with my own daughter about this. Is this something that goes way, way, way back, that we more easily remember the tough times, the challenging times, let's call them the bad times, so that we do not repeat them, or so that it's really a matter of survival, that we remember that, hey, I tried it this way, it didn't work out very well, and it's just naturally easier for us to remember them because it is a matter of survival, or at least improving our current situation. Do you follow me on that?
I think you hit it right on the head, Andy. I really do believe that is exactly what it is. It's survival of the fittest. We don't want to repeat our mistakes and repeat those things that were negative in our lives. And that is such a great point, because if we focus on just the good things, we're going to repeat some of those bad things, and we don't want to do that. So I think you nailed it with that one.
So, but so often we want to, go through our daily routine, sort of being able to remember the good times and growing those and building on them. So you'd think that we would naturally put more energy into trying to remember the good times. The question is, why don't we? And secondly, what is one of your best memories of your childhood? Can you think of one?
Yeah. First of all, I'm gonna try to answer that. Why don't we focus on that? That's a good question. As I said before, I think we don't want to repeat the mistakes, but we should still focus on the good times, because that's our happiness. That makes us happy, and that makes a happier person. You can almost see the people that are happier, focusing on positive things. I mean, even when I watch the kids playing basketball on the sidelines, I'm seeing the way the coach handles the kids, and the ones that are having the good time are the ones with the smiles on their faces. And I think they're learning a lot of how much positive can help. So then, you said, do I remember one of the good times? Well, I remember certain things in my life that were amazing, and that's the birth of all my kids. I really, this may sound weird, but it's just exactly that. I mean, that's an amazing time in my life. And so those are the good things I like to be positive about. And babies smile, they're having a good time. Why don't we have a good time? Yeah. So I do believe that parents really, I think, one of their best memories are when their kids are born.
I've heard that, and I often wonder if they're just saying that because the person that's going to hear that response is a child of theirs, and they want, what I mean. They want to be that for their parents. A great memory.
Andy, I wasn't saying that for you, bud. Even though you were a bright spot in my life, yeah. Obviously, as all my kids. I've got 7 kids, and
I know you do have spot. A lot. What do you think about all the conversation about a negative population growth. I think like China is experiencing negative population growth. I think even the US might be. I haven't seen the latest data, but I think people are having less. I think it's trying to tell us people are having less children. Is
And I
that
wonder if that's a negative, I think. I think that will, in the long term, be negative for them. I don't know. I don't know. If they don't get that joy in their lives, that's quite a joy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if they're not going to get that, if they're going through generations now without having kids, negative population growth, I don't know. I don't think that's going to turn out well.
I'm sure that's true. I mean, for reasons, families want to be, for who knows, any number of reasons, families want to be bigger rather than smaller. But there's a lot of talk about, how that will affect development moving forward, right? The workforce will be smaller. I'm sure that will have an effect on automation, and it'll spur the development of robots and AI. I mean, we could go anywhere with this conversation, Dad, and probably never see an end to it, in terms of what that could mean. But maybe just families don't see a positive, at least an immediate positive future for children. So they're like, I don't want to put them through it. Maybe, that's part of it, is I don't want them to be a part of, what they're seeing with Russia and Ukraine and the economy and the earth and the impacts of weather change and all of that. Maybe they're just like, what, I don't want to, it's sort of weird because you think of big families as being, or couples that want to have a lot of children being a selfish thing. But now it's like, I don't want to do that because I'm afraid of the life that they will have. You follow me?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, Andy, every one of us thinks that we're living through a rough time right now. Well, we are, but they lived through rough times back in the day too. They had to go through World War II, and they were, World War I, World War II, all these big, very negative, impactful things in our lives. And why would our parents want to bring us into that world?
And yet they did.
And
did, yeah.
it was bad back then. It was bad, and it's bad now. But is that? Yeah, I guess it's being selfish in a way, by just determining. I mean, it is your choice. It's your choice, and if you're a married couple or even a couple, whatever, and you don't want to have kids, that's your choice, and it's more power to you. But I'm just saying that it's been a positive in my life, and it's been one of the best things to smile about in my life. And maybe I'm selfish, but maybe I didn't care about my kids coming into a world that was horrible. But I think kids coming into the world make it better, and make a lot of things better.
I like that. That's very, very good thing for you to say, in terms of, that really buttoned it up nicely, Dad. That brought it all together. I appreciate you saying that. So let's end this episode.
Okay.
But because we're talking about this, let me throw out a really big, heavy question to tackle in the next episode. Okay. The meaning of life to you.
Wow.
Let's talk about that. I know it's huge, and I don't know that we can answer it in one episode. But let's think about that for a minute or a day, and and we'll end this episode, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Love you, buddy.
Love you, Dad.